Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
All right, so as a special Easter surprise, we had a guest calling in from Vince Neil's house out in Nashville, Tennessee. So, ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome to the Classic Metal Wrap-Up Show, the real Dana Strum.
Hello, CMSers. Oh, right on, man. It's so good to be back with my boy Andrew. Hey. Yeah, man. So we're outside Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, wait, I forgot. Greetings and salutations from the real Dana Strum. Yeah, that's what my man Jeff Tate says too. I love this show, man. Hey, so yeah, happy Easter to all the CMSers out there. First and foremost, from Vance. He wants you all to know that he's happy and healthy, and there's been some show cancellations, but he did request, due to HIPAA Privacy Act here, that I can't disclose what's going on medically, all right? But he's happy and healthy. He's eating like a horse, as you're going to find out here in a minute. And he's got a lot of people here around the table, as you can see here in Nashville, Tennessee. We've invited some guests, some local residents, and there's a few that are on the way that haven't made it yet. There's a few that are on the guest list that I, as his personal assistant, invited. I don't know if they're going to show up, though, boys. I got to be honest with you. But Vince wanted me, because of the situation this Easter, he wanted to make amends if he could, at least throw an invitation to people like Axl Rose and Izzy Stradlin and Brent Woods and people like that. But so those people, they're not here, but we did throw the invitation to them. But right now we're waiting for John 5. He's going to get here any minute. And we got Vicky Vincent in the house, guys. I mean, this is like, special occasion right now. We're all going to feast here in a minute. So,
Right.
so rule number one for this interview, and he 100%, guys, let's just be straight, right? Vince is the king cheese of Motley Crue. He's the reason why we're all here today. And we want to thank Vince and Jesus and little baby in the manger and all the holiday spirit for happy bunnies. Vince loves the pastel colors and the fuchsia and the pink of Easter. This is right up his alley, man. So now you're looking at a photo I supplied of us at dinner here. This just a few minutes ago that I gave my friend Evil. And when you see this photo, you see a gentleman at the front who is not really invited to our dinner. He's not Vince's friend. Okay, I mean, this is... But I called this company and I said, "Do you guys have like a guy in an Easter bunny outfit?
Oh, you're
you could
talking
send
about?
over?"
Oh, we
Yeah,
know who
I
that guy
called.
is.
Well, I called this company and they sent this guy at the door. It was supposed to be like one of those telegram things, and the
Right.
guy in the Easter bunny outfit I thought would cheer up Vince, with his spirits right now. And this guy shows up, and I said, "Wait, aren't you Moonface Drake from the Classic Metal Show?" And
That's
that he's
exactly
out
him.
here on Easter
Wow.
trying to make a side buck off Vince. Look at this guy
No shit.
hoarding in on our food too. He's gonna probably pack that little belly full in that little pink outfit. Won't be able to zip it up here in a few more minutes because he's pulling off the muffins and all the bread
No
off Vinny's
kidding.
plate.
Oh my God. Oh,
So luckily
okay.
for Pink Bunny Boy, me and Zolt and Blando were in the kitchen late last night, man. We were making a lot of food, dude. So let's go over this real quick. Rule number one for Vince's Easter party, in case you didn't know, is that you're invited, but your friend can't come. Duh. Hello. That's the rule at every one of Vince's parties. You're invited, but your friend can't come. So that's number one. You can get in here and get some pork chops and some lamb leg and some glazed ham, but you can't bring your friends, all right? Unless they're Playboy bunnies. That's the only other bunnies that Vince will accept. All right.
Right.
Number
And I,
two,
I want to add in there, I do know the other rule to that, or the other side of that, Dana, if this is correct. If you do bring your friend who was not invited, that motherfucker will be told, "Hey, don't go away mad, just go away." Is that correct?
110%. We will break it out in a jam session in the living room as you leave the house. Now, another thing mentioning that, because you're bringing up the crew. That's Vince's main, that's the big paycheck. That's what we're all here for. But he has a rule in this house. When you're in the house for Easter dinner, because there's going to be some family and friends, you cannot bring up T-Bone. T-Bone is not allowed
Oh,
to be discussed in this house. Okay,
is
he's
it
persona.
because wasn't it Tommy that knocked his ass out? Or no, Vince knocked Tommy out in like the what was it, the Oakland airport,
I mean, a lot of
Bay
people
Area?
have knocked Tommy out. His
Yeah.
own fucking son knocked him out. But I can also see where that would be very, very, very smart
Yeah.
to not allow Tommy in the house because there are two small children in that house. And if
True.
Tommy was there, they could end up drowned in a pool. So,
Oh shit. Okay, so no Tommy, no mentions of Tommy. We get it.
Yeah, but that could violate some NDA agreements that
Hmm.
Dennis Strum, the real Dennis Strum, had to sign to get in the Vince Neil band. So, like, no mention of T-Bone. It's just bad news. If you want to see Vince get really ugly and start throwing pork chops at you, then you just bring up T-Bone at the dinner table. I'm just going to tell you
Jeez.
that right
yeah.
now.
Okay.
He likes
Yeah.
T-Bone, but it's not the T-Bone from Motley Crue, man. I'm telling you that right now. All
Yeah.
right, so within his menu, now this is very specific, guys, because you know how this guy. I mean, it trying to put this together was a lot of work for a bass player from Slaughter.
Sure.
That's not my specialty, but to
No.
start off as his appetizers, he demanded 4 plates of a dozen each of deviled eggs just to get warmed up, and he wanted some potato salad and some green bean casserole. Those were his appetizers. I mean, that was just him
Wow.
walking in to sit down at the chair and talk to me, and the guys here. So then we had to throw in last night. Now, luckily, I had Zolt and Blando to help. Otherwise, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to do this interview right now because we had to bake 3 honey glazed hams, 2 lamb legs. We have 2 pot roasts, and we have 3 platters of pork chops available for everyone. He wanted an order of scallops. He needed some asparagus pasta. He has a special asparagus, the Vince Neil asparagus pasta recipe that I had to follow. That's the specialty there for the Neil family. The Whartons, actually. It's an old Wharton family recipe. And the hash brown casserole was another one that he's really big on. So that was just the mess. That's what's getting us around the table here. Now, old Moonface Drake's been hoarding in on the lamb legs and the glazed ham. So I don't know how much Vince might send him packing here in a minute. I'm just
Oh
going to give him
shit.
a warning. But for dessert, I also prepped up a few carrot cakes, right? I mean, isn't that what you would want if you're having Playboy bunnies and John Drake in a bunny outfit and Vince Neil in and fuchsia bunny slippers? Want to have some carrot cake? I think that would be an appropriate dessert over a glass of wine or some, you know, tequila.
Tequila. There you go.
Vince does love his tequila. So that's what that was the menu for today. And yeah, we got Vicky Vincent here. I don't know if Brent Woods is going to make it out. We threw the invite, because some of his old friend from Vince's and might. And then we were looking for, we did because they're from Indiana. We thought that's pretty close to Tennessee. And since there was old, battle wounds and stuff, we threw out the
Mm,
invite to Axe and Izzy Stradlin of GNR, but no answer there,
nothing.
which was no surprise, really, right? I mean,
Right.
but yeah, so we all everybody know Vince is happy, healthy, and enjoying Easter here in Tennessee. Happy Easter to all the CMSers out there. Happy to Easter to Andrew and Ruben and your families. And I think something that should be mentioned is that since Vince is not going to be unable to perform for a few months, me and Mark and Zolt and Blando are going to hit the road and do a few shows, boys. Right? Slaughter's
Mm.
going to take it out. A little up all night at M3 coming up, right?
Oh, that's right.
No, sounds good.
Yeah,
Nice.
and then we're gonna go over to the Beavers Dam thing and party out there too. I think there's a few other dates that are getting thrown up there. So hit the
Yeah.
road out there, folks, and check out Slaughter. Might want to spend our life with you. You never know. We're going to do a lot of things. We might do some cover jams. There might be some things happening here. So you might some things from Slaughter you've never heard before. So you just don't know. We might, might even break into a Motley Crue song just because we know it really well.
That's right. They're basically the Motley band, the Vince solo band, basically.
Yeah, we got
Yep.
so many Crue songs in our back pocket. We could just whip them out at any time and just start jamming. Hold on 1 second.
Oh,
What are we doing? I'm getting casserole.
I'm on the classic metal show, right? Wrap up show right now, Vince. All right, Vince, hold on. Okay, so Vince is telling me in the background to get the fuck off the show and to get back to cooking.
that was
He's
Vince. I
not.
thought it was the Chinese help. Sounded
No, that's
Chinese to me.
Vince.
Oh, that was
No,
Vince.
no. He
Oh
wants his
shit.
green bean casserole. It's cold. He wants me to warm it
Oh,
up. He's pissed.
well, send the
He's
fucking
on.
bunny to go warm it up.
Oh, I think the bunny got thrown out because he was ragging on Vicky. Vicky's kind of sensitive at the table this year. I don't know. I think she's
Well,
going through some transitionary periods and she's not happy with herself. So we were
well, that's
trying to bridge because the idea, I'll be honest, the reason why Vicky was invited was because we were trying to get a little songwriting session here. We know her chops as a songwriter, and we were
did.
thinking, for the next Vince Neil band album, right? Right? Everybody wants a new Vince Neil album at some point. So might as well get Vicky Vincent on the songwriting credits, man. I mean, might write our Unholy, might write our, Heart of Chrome or whatever these other songs he was writing. So
Uh,
I think this could be a good collaboration. Vince and Vinny. I mean, there's a lot of correlations there. So
right.
they both love pink, Ruben. They both love the color pink.
That's
So
true. Yeah. Pink. Oh boy.
I mean, you guys all
Yeah.
forget if you go back to the old days with Vince and crew, take a look.
Right.
I
The
mean, if
pink.
he was not
But
wearing
it
the hot
wasn't Vince
red,
wearing pink panties under the chaps or some shit like that.
yeah,
Oh,
right, yeah, during a theater tour, yeah, he
that's
loved the
what I was
pink
gonna
and
say.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was yeah, he really got comfortable with Vinnie Vincent type looks right there, and that's where they bonded back then. And so, knowing that Vinny was just a few miles down the road here in Tennessee, it was a no-brainer. You do the Easterly thing and invite your neighbor to a meal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we also called up Bobby Rock out in Houston, Texas, but he didn't answer my call. I guess he's busy with Lita, maybe. I don't
But
know.
what about Kid Rock? Did you guys? Vince knows all the big names. Did he invite Kid Rock?
Yeah, but Kid Rock was too busy hanging out with the Orange Man up in DC, I think, right now. He's been on the all politic train. And Vince is focusing here on his health in Tennessee, trying to get right, because Crew does have some dates coming up at the end of summer that we're all
That's
hopeful
right.
for. And he has to go to Mexico, I believe, for a big dance with some bands. And so Def Leppard, I believe he's pairing with. So, I got to make sure Vince stays happy and healthy, and he needed to be here in Tennessee, having a couple cocktails, like my friend Evil and his brother Wendell would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, hopefully he heals up. No, John 5.5 yet.
He hasn't gotten here yet, but supposedly he's bringing some guitars, and him and Vicky are going to do some chicken picking. Like I said, I was going to get the bass out, and we're going to throw a little jam, and Vince would probably. I mean, I don't. Vince is a little bit particular about when he sings and when he doesn't sing, and where he
Now,
sings, who he
now,
sings for. So,
what about? Hey, Dana, why don't you try to get Mick back in the band? Because he's the missing ingredient, right?
well, here's the thing. Okay, so Vicky lives next door to Mick.
Oh,
He's here in Tennessee too. Yeah, people don't realize
oh,
it. They're just out. This is all the same neighborhoods, man. Not just a couple miles. We all shop at the same stores. Okay, so I talked to Vicky and I said, "Hey, is Mick okay?" And he said, "Well, the other day when I saw him in the yard, he was on a walker. So I don't
mm,
know if Mick's, how, so again, HIPAA boys, so we
yeah,
don't want to cross
right.
those lines right now with Vince and Mick and the lawyers. And it honestly, here's the bigger secret, guys. I'm going to whisper this one because I don't want Vince to hear it. Okay. We don't want to piss off Nikki Six and Alan Kovac. Lawsuits.
That's probably true. And it sounds like Mick probably has a broken HIPAA anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Vince doesn't want to piss off the real bread and butter here. I
Hey,
mean,
Dana, Dana,
yeah, yeah.
who's a better bass player, Nikki Six or Pete Way?
Beat Way any day of the week because he was actually plugged in.
That's what I thought. Holy
They
shit.
didn't they didn't have Pro Tools back then, but now I've been playing the tracks into Pro Tools and then Nikki just plugs it in and pretends.
Oh, that's right, because you know all the Motley shit.
Exactly. And when they needed some extra drum tracks on the last tour, Zoltan subbed in for T-Bone because T-Bone was wasted and couldn't find his wig.
Holy shit. So it's basically the Vince Neil solo band on stage with John 5.5.
That John's the only one that's actually plugged in.
Oh, holy shit.
So would you say, Dana, that you are the digital Matthew Tripp?
Well, Matthew Tripp, actually, I mean, that was that he is like the one that we follow because he started this pattern with Crew where we just kind of substitute in different tracks of other people and then they play pretend. But here's the deal: Alan Kovac doesn't tell them that. So Nikki
Mm.
and T-Bone think they're playing, but they're not plugged in, guys.
Oh, so
Holy shit.
it's like whenever you're playing Nintendo with your fucking cousins back in the late 80s, early 90s, and you don't plug in your little cousin's controller,
Controller.
and he thinks that you're fucking playing, but it's just the demos. Gotcha. Okay, makes
Exactly
sense.
what they did. Yes, Alan is a master at manipulation. Again, these guys on stage, they hate each other. But if they fake plug in the instruments and make them play pretend, they get all dressed up with their wigs and they get on stage, man, they make millions, bro. But don't tell anyone, bro.
We got it. We're not gonna say anything.
So
Although I think they can.
it's an industry secret, but you guys on Blabbermouth and the Metal Edge or the metal, I don't know, these metal guys on these podcasts keep talking about all this. Oh, I just want to make sure Vince doesn't hear me, bro, because if he hears me, he's going to throw me out with Moonface Drake. I'll be out there riding away in a
Oh yeah.
Volkswagen Bug with Moonface, trying to go to the next gig, trying to wear a bunny suit, trying to find a paycheck.
Wow. So are the you would know this? Are the Def Leppard backing tracks real?
They're really tracks, I can tell you that much. Really tracks, because some of those drums require two arms, and that guy's only got one, bro.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's why
So
it
are you
sounded.
telling me that they only kept him in there because they didn't want to feel bad, as Wendell would say?
Well, I can only tell you what I know from backstage, and from what I'm seeing backstage is that they kind of treat him like a little kid brother who's on the short yellow bus, and they just kind of haul him around anyways, because like they don't really need him. The drum tracks are piped through, and everything's fake anyways. But it makes him feel good if
So
they put those little headphones on him and he swings his drum stick. He only
are
needs
you
one stick,
telling
so it's kind
me?
of it's a discount compared to other drummers because it's only one drumstick, bro.
Oh,
Yeah. Are you telling me that the line in Animal on his stereo where they go, the circus comes to town, was a little bit of a passive aggressive jab?
Well, eh, but Mutt Lang couldn't tell him that. He didn't hear it till the album came out. And then when he heard the album come out, he was so pissed he threw his drumstick right at the cassette player and stabbed the stereo system a few times because he was so angry that he knew that lyric was about him.
oh. Hey, Dana. So you were on the stadium tour, right? Because you were helping with the Motley tour. And
I'm
you said
I'm Vince's number one handler.
number.
Yes, yes.
So so who was the better singer on that tour? Was it Joe Elliott, Vince, or Brett Michaels? And
Brett
Brett,
Michaels was actually plugged in. I can at
that's what
least
I
tell you
thought.
that much.
That's what I thought. So was
Brett
he
Michaels was
the best singer though? Best singer on there?
Yeah, I think so, man. I mean, if you put a gun to my head and said, Danny, you only got one '80s band to put back together and be in a band with a guy that's actually going to sing and dance around and do his shit, and I'm not going to lie, his wig is about as legit as I don't know anybody else's wig, T-Bone's wig, right? But
Right.
his vocals are real. He actually sings and he keeps himself in shape. I think the diabetes thing makes him stay in
Yeah.
shape.
Okay. Now, do you think if Slaughter was on that tour, do you think Mark would have made it through that one? I mean, he's kind of
Ooh.
he's kind of pudgy,
Ooh.
It's a lot of dates, hard on the vocal cords. So I'm
right?
gonna be honest and fair with my main man. And I love Mark, and he knows that he's my brother. But I don't know if 40 or 60 dates is in his bag of
Right.
repertoire. He could pull out right now. That many nights might be taxing on the chords. Slaughter is not an easy hang on the vocals, man. So
Wow. Yeah, that's an honest answer. I don't think he could do it. I mean, yeah,
well, this is why
I
we
think
split
he's
the time. We split the time between Vince's band and Slaughter because it just works out for both these guys. Vince, he only has so many dates he could do with us because he's busy with Crew. So we have so many dates we could do with Mark and Slaughter, and it all works out in the end. It's a pretty. I don't think Mark is. I don't think he's desiring to go on the road anyways. So, the
Right.
opening slot on a stadium tour, basically, let's be real, guys. Okay, hold on, let me whisper again. I don't want to make it. If we would have got the opening slot, we would have been in the Joan Jett type position as Slaughter, and we would have
Yeah.
only got like 25 minutes. And then
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if that's even that short of a set. How many dates could that we do? I don't know.
That was probably good money though for Joan Jett, right? I mean, because she's kind of like she was like the odd one out.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, let's talk about some industry secrets, boys. That is good money for Joan Jett, but 50% goes to that weird dude on the keyboards.
Yeah, that's right. The manager. What's it? What's his name? Was it Kenny
Kenny
I don't know.
something, but
Kenny
he's
Laguna or
weird.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's a New York City mobster kind of guy, and I get weird vibes from him, so I stay
Allegedly,
away.
allegedly. I don't want to get wild.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm just saying that for my safety, I carry a switchblade when I see them backstage.
Ooh. Would you happen to have? Would does he happen to have a 70-year-old 80s burnout that goes and collects the money with a sleeveless shirt and iron crosses on either side of the shoulder?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, that's, that let's just be fair. There's got to be a few of those Neely type guys backstage for every band. I mean, that's like the roadie thing. It was the look, and so I'm sure that they have a couple of those. It wouldn't surprise me if there's like some Neely cousins who live in, Eastern Pennsylvania and
Oh,
more
there is,
towards
yeah.
Philly and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, where the gangsters are. Because that guy, that
Like the
just gonna say some of these. I'm not just saying Joan Jett and her people. I'm saying the music industry might have a lot of gangsters around
like
in
the
certain
Amish
places.
mafia, right?
Yep, yep. So you don't want to mess around with these people. You look straight. You just do what you're supposed to do. Stay in line, and just don't let the keyboard player in Joan Jett's band see you. And you don't want to get cross-eyed with him.
Right. Yeah, I don't. How much more time you have before you guys have to hit the dessert? Because I mean, we could ask you a couple more questions, but if you're pressed on time, I mean,
He's. I think I'm. Zolt's in there warming up the casserole, so I could probably get a few more minutes out here.
all right. Um, what's a good Vinnie Vincent story? I mean, did you ever catch him cross-dressing and walk around backstage or anything like that?
Well, um, there's some stories that are out there. If you could do a little research on your internet, you'll find out that both myself and Mark and Bobby Rock have all told some stories about making that first Invasion album. And I think the most surprising thing for me, because I had helped out Ozzy and Randy back in the day,
Sure.
so I'd seen some shenanigans in the studio and on the road, but this time, what happened was this guy lined up. I mean, it was almost like Malmsteen style amount of amplifiers in the studio, a wall of speakers. And then he had all these microphones plugged into all of these speakers. And I thought we were waiting for hours for this guy to show up. And,
Right.
he's out. She's out there at the dinner table right now, so I can't say it too loud.
Well, wait a
But
minute.
but the bottom,
Isn't it
the,
they're
well,
out at the dinner table.
it's she when she's here off stage. It's he when he's on stage. It's just kind of a role reversal.
Got it.
So, anyways, I'll just say it like this because if I say he, she out there won't think I'm talking about her as my guest. So, anyways, we were in the studio and he had all these amplifiers and all these things mic'd up and he's turning them up full volume. Well, we're in the studio, boys. You don't need full volume in the studio. And we were like, okay, we were waiting hours and hours. And then finally, at about when the sun went down, she came out of the bathroom in pink fishnet stockings and high heels
I knew it.
and like a corset type of outfit. And she had the pink flying V, and she went into the room. And to be honest with you, that's how the opening chords of "Boys Are Gonna Rock" that big. That's all her in her lingerie late at night doing that sound. Yeah.
No.
So it
Wow.
was we knew we were making music history, but we also knew that this was probably never going to be played on stage, right? Because there's no way that was ever going to be. You can't play that kind of music on stage, man.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Too many. I mean, like 82 guitar tracks on one song. It's like
Sure.
how is that going to be reduplicated?
And a man on fire.
Oh yeah, and a man on fire. Right.
So
Oh,
it's all, so
and
those are the memories I have. And those memories I cherish.
and you could be honest. Which one's the best Vinnie Vincent Invasion record?
I'm still gonna go with the first one. I know I love
Yeah,
Mark, but
yeah,
Robert Fleischman is
right.
there's something vocally about Fleischman that Mark was never. But don't tell Mark that, because then he
Oh, I
won't
won't.
want to do the slaughter shows.
I'm not gonna tell him.
He w- he'll skip out and leave me high and dry in the Beaver's Dam.
That's right. He will. He'll
Well, you
take it
don't want
I,
personal,
that,
huh?
especially
did
at
you guys
especially at
did
such a prestigious venue as the Beaver Dam.
yeah, and you didn't catch Dana's little pun there for your background, high and dry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. I caught
I
on
got
to
it.
it,
I did call it.
and it
All
also
right,
goes
I
with
knew
the
you guys were on the level. I
and
knew
it,
you knew your rock.
and it also goes with the Vinnie Vincent story about the men's, the theys
Yeah,
and the thems and the she's and
yeah.
he and all that.
Yeah, there's some operation dates in the near future. I'm not supposed again. HIPAA.
Right. Well, it's good to hear though that he got himself out of that legal thing with the dogs and the totes and whatever else was going on. Right. I mean that.
Well, okay, that was a misunderstanding. See,
Oh,
he
was
was
I mean,
trying.
what was he
Well,
doing?
it was winter time, and there was a snowstorm, and he tried to preserve his
Now wait
pets
a
for
minute. You said
proper
he. Are we
cremation.
back to the he or the she?
They
They.
together, all of
Okay.
them, in the
Yeah.
group on the compound outside Nashville, Tennessee, and they were trying to preserve their pets for cremation in the spring or
Oh.
summer for a proper service, and they never got there because the domestic violence broke up the scene, man.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
try to give him a little room on that one because, they were having a hard time, and so was their missus, and they lost pets, and it was
Right.
cold. It was a cold Tennessee winter that year, so we try to give him a little leeway.
Sure. All right.
That's why he's here helping us to write some songs tonight. We're going to try to see if we can create some new Vince Neil band songs with little Vinnie Vincent flair.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
The
Behind the
Vincent
scenes.
Vince invasion.
Yes, exactly. Well, we were discussing that. How will we go about that name? Because there's so many different. You can go a couple of different V's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's we're gonna work out whether, and there's even don't tell anybody this because I don't want Blando to get pissed. He's in the kitchen making some more green bean casserole and some potato salad right now. But if he doesn't keep pulling his weight in the Vinnie Vincent or in the Vince Neil band, it might become the Vinnie Vincent band with Vinnie Vincent on guitar.
Isn't it funny that you mention weight when you have a fat fuck as the lead singer?
Yeah, because we keep cooking all this fucking food and he won't tell us. He keeps asking for more, and we've been cooking all night and all day, and he just told us we want some more pot roast. We got to run to the market and see if there's any in stock.
Jesus. Wow.
I think that's the one thing that, all right, just gonna make sure he's not coming. The one thing that Nikki and Alan and all them don't tell you is the food bill, the fucking food bill, bro. Like this guy
Catering.
is
Oh
just,
my God.
yeah, it's just
Oh my
constant,
God.
man, just pounding down the fucking burgers and the steaks and the lobster and the crab and the shrimp. He won't quit,
And the
bro.
Indonesian children.
And you know what?
What the
Last night when he was really drunk by the fireplace, you know what he told me? He said, "I'm not going to stop eating until I see Razzle again."
what the
Oh.
fuck? That is awful. That is awful. Oh my God.
Did he
Um,
tell you when he goes down, when he goes down, when he goes down, 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 don't kickstart his heart?
yes, and he said that. I mean, just let's just be straight. The poor guy, he suffers because of the loss of his daughter and the loss of Razzle, man, and
Razzle.
so that
Right.
just leads to a lot of drinking, a lot of eating, a lot of gluttonous behavior because he's just looking for gain.
I get it. He looks at that picture of Razzle and he thinks, bud, without you in my life.
He slowly wilts and dies. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what's a slow wilt and die right here
Oh,
at the Easter table.
that's awful.
So
Oh,
now we love Vince and we don't wish any ill will upon him. We just know he's suffering
No,
right now. So
he
that's why I'm
is.
here. And that's why I'm here to try to keep it straight as possible. But man, I'm telling you, the grocery bill is insane, dude.
I
Yeah.
did.
Plus, you gotta watch what you say when you're on the phone with us. I mean, because being around him and minding your words has to feel like dancing on glass. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It keeps me red hot, man. I'm red hot.
You're familiar with
Yeah.
Evil's brother Wendell, right? Because he's the coattail writer for Don Dawkin. Uh, e- would you believe this? Last week on the CMS, he stated that he had been mistaken for Vince on several occasions and Kip Winger. I mean, you know what that guy looks like. He's all busted up. Do you think he really looks like Vince or Kip Winger? I mean, Kip Winger, right? I mean, there's a distinct
Oh,
difference between Vince
Maybe
and
Vince. They just see a fat fuck. They could think that.
there is zero
Not Kip.
chance that anyone would think Wendell Neely from the classic metal show is
that's what
Vince Neil, my man. Oh,
that is
is this a
funny.
comedy routine?
Well, that's what
Oh,
we thought. I thought it was funny, but I was just like, he can't be serious, but he really is
not.
that delusional.
Well, that's why I'm on the wrap up show, Ruben, because going on the rare show would just be a waste of my time, man. Oh, that guy is delusional. He's fully delusional. But I try not to throw any shade because it's Evil's brother. But man, that guy is a real character. And backstage as Vince's number one helper, I could tell you that there's some weird shenanigans going on between him and Don Dawkins. But we'll just leave it at that. You CMSers can put two and two together.
Wow. Is it more than
Yeah.
just zipping and velcroing shoes and shit?
Could be a
Yeah.
lot more than that, and it
Oh.
could involve robes. And I
Mm.
found some robes in a suitcase one time, and some pamphlets with some literature that was very, very disturbing. And so I just know that they might be better to live together in a mansion in Mississippi.
Wow.
Gotcha.
All right. Uh, well, I guess we've kept you long enough. I do have one last question though, since we're talking
Oh
about
yeah,
Easter dinner and stuff like that
yeah.
before you have to cut out. What's the
Yeah.
oddest thing on Vince's writers for this stadium tour or just in general? I mean, what's one of the one go-to things as far as like I know we were talking about the food bill and the catering and stuff like that. What's the one item that's really a standout for Vince as far as any of the other stuff? Kind of like a unique type of request.
Well, one that's been very, very hard. I mean, I try to work with these people and explain to them the level of star that they're bringing into their little podunk town in the Midwest or wherever it is, right? And I try to tell them Vince has a few things he's used to in Hollywood and California that maybe are not so accessible in these backwoods areas. But I give him advance notice to prepare that if he doesn't have a jacuzzi or a hot tub, you're fucked. He's not going to go on stage, all right? He needs a bubble bath before he hits that stage of some sort. If there's
Mm.
no, not even a spa tub with some, and the Bath and Body Works. He's a Bath and Body Works freak. He needs to smell fresh and have
Mm.
his skin feel velvety soft. Otherwise, he's not getting on stage and giving you the every third hem and haw that you need to get through kickstart, feel good, the songs me and you know and love. So a lot of these backwoods towns are like Bath and Body Works, and I'm like, yeah, dude, you better get in that truck right now and drive 100 miles to the nearest city and hit a Bath and Body Works, because otherwise, if Vince gets backstage and these things are not there, he's not going on stage.
Right.
Show over. He doesn't care. He doesn't need your 50 grand or 100 grand, pal. He's got crew money in the bank. So that's the fuchsia bunny slippers. That's a
Hmm.
must-have. If he comes off stage and can't slip directly into a robe and fuchsia bunny slippers, he's gonna be pissed, dude. Do you think T-Bone makes him mad? Wait till you see him without his slippers. He is gonna lose his shit. And that's all there is to it, man. It's just So, as his assistant, I just tell people some slippers, Bath and Body Works, and a hot tub. You go a long way with Vince Neil. That's backstage.
That's
Actually,
pretty
I
cool.
was told that that
Uh-oh.
video that came out a couple years ago of him and Nicolas Cage out in front of that building in, I believe it was Las Vegas,
Hmm.
where he grabbed that one young lady by the hair and threw her on the ground. A lot of people said Vince was drunk, but what I was told was the truth of the matter was that they lost his fucking bunny slippers on the plane.
It was the bunny
That's the truth of the matter that TMZ wasn't picking up on, that they were not understanding
Wow.
that a crucial piece of what Vince needs in his day-to-days was missing. And that was the reaction you saw there. And that's what I'm trying to prevent from happening, and it's just like, oh, hold on, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Never tell Andrew. He ain't talking about my friends like that. I'm Nicolas Cage is my friend, and I don't like it when Andrew's talking about my friends. Tell him to pipe down. Yeah. Yeah.
Vince, I got it, bro. Andrew, okay. No more talking about Nicolas Cage. That's all. I forgot that rule. Hold on, rule number 3. Let me write that
Ooh.
down. No Nicolas Cage. All right, Vince, I'll be out there.
Some lamb shanks.
Oh, lamb shanks? We didn't even have lamb shanks. Vince, let me write that down. Lamb shanks. All right, so it looks like Zolt's gonna have to run up to the local market and get some lamb shanks.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, so Andrew, don't talk about Nicolas Cage. It makes Vince very
Got it.
angry. That's a very personal, close friend, a confidant, if you know that. And Nicolas Cage has an endless supply of pink bunny slippers at his pad, so
Mm.
that's why Vince hangs out there a lot.
Right.
So, all right, guys.
All right.
Well, I appreciate Happy Easter to all
Happy
y'all.
Easter and
Yeah,
Happy
wow.
Easter.
Sounds like
Happy
you.
Easter to the CMSers out there, and even a Happy Easter to Axel and Izzy and Brent Woods and all the people who didn't show up
And
to our.
Razzle. Razzle.
Yeah,
Any way
Razzle's
for
not
him?
here.
Oh,
Yeah, we got a Happy Easter to Razzle, and so and I know, we did throw out the invite to Michael Monroe, but he's on tour. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the
Right.
Whiskey a little while back, and he's on the road. So, shout out to Hanoi Rocks, and I'm gonna get back in the kitchen and help. I'm sure Zolt and Blando are just getting their asses kicked right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. All right.
um,
Well, thanks for checking in on Easter Sunday and catching us up to speed on the feast in Tennessee over at the Vince
on Vince
Neil
Neil's Last Supper
compound.
there, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, you guys haven't been here. There's a sign out front. It's Casa de Vince.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So if you ever see the sign when you're riding around Tennessee, it says big bold letters Casa de Vince with an arrow.
So
That's
you
how you get
just
to Vince
told us
Neil's house.
where he's
Yeah.
living.
Yep. So, happy Easter to everyone, and I hope to see y'all on the slaughter shows coming up, so we can fly the angels
Right.
together. And me and Mark are going to represent with Blando and our new drummer. I don't know what his
Bobby
name
Blotzer?
is. Joey something, I think, or I don't know, some new kid back there on the kit, because Zoltan only plays with Vince Neil band now. So,
Right. Okay. All right.
all right, y'all. Well, happy Easter. Hey, also, they're kind of weird, but go ahead and send my Easter greetings to Mr. Aiken and Wendell Neely.
All right. We'll do that. We'll pass it along. Uh-oh. Did he cut out? All right. All right. Well, we wrapped up with Mr. Strum, so I don't know if you have anything there, Mr. Evil Keneally.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for Dana for checking in, and it was good to hear from him and Vince. And hope happy Easter to everyone out there, and hope you all are doing well on this Easter Sunday. And we here on the Classic Metal Wrap Up Show just want to give you a final farewell and say bye, kids.
Bye, kids.
Your horns